So let's talk about those super advanced running shoes. You know, the ones with the carbon plates. Are they actually some kind of revolutionary performance tech?
We're just a really, really clever marketing gimmick.
Exactly. Or, and this is the one that worries people, are they actually a hidden injury risk just waiting to happen?
Well, that's precisely the question we want to get into today. We're going to try and move past, the personal stories and anecdotes,
Right.
and instead we're doing a deep dive into the actual biomechanical evidence. We've synthesized 8 different scientific papers, all very recent, 2024, 2025.
And the goal here is to really apply some critical thinking, right? To get past the simple, they're good or they're bad arguments.
It is,
Yeah.
because the science isn't absolute at all. The very first thing the sources make clear is that you just can't make a blanket statement about these shoes.
It all comes down to the plate itself.
The plate's hardness, its thickness, even its shape, and where it sits inside that foam midsole, all of it matters.
Okay, so let's tackle that first myth then. Are they just a gimmick? The science seems to push back on that pretty hard when it comes to efficiency.
It really does. The papers are quite clear that these plates genuinely improve your running economy. They actually reduce your overall metabolic cost.
So let's break that down. When you say improved mechanical efficiency, what's happening at, say, the ankle joint to make that happen?
It's all about energy return conservation when you push off the ground. The research shows that the curved plates, specifically, they reduce the amount of energy your ankle joint has to consume during that push-off phase.
The concentric phase.
The concentric phase, exactly.
Oh.
You're actively pushing away. And that translates directly to better mechanical efficiency.
And you can actually measure that reduced effort in the muscles themselves.
You can. They used electromyography, or EMG, to measure muscle activity. And they found that in the calf muscles, both the medial and lateral sides, the activity was just lower.
So you're getting better propulsion for less energy?
That's the key. And what's really interesting is this kind of Goldilocks finding. It's not about having the absolute stiffest plate possible.
Ah, so more isn't always better.
Not at all. The studies tested different stiffnesses and found that a medium stiffness plate actually gave the biggest improvement in running efficiency, especially at a pretty brisk pace, like 13 kilometers per hour.
And these benefits, they don't just fade away after the first few miles.
No, they seem to persist during prolonged runs, at least in the trained male runners they tested. And just as important, the runners reported feeling less tired subjectively.
Okay, so the metabolic savings are real. That's a big tick in the tech, not gimmick box.
Yeah.
But what about the other side of it? The injury risk.
Right, because that kind of efficiency boost usually comes with a trade-off.
Always a trade-off.
And this is where it gets a bit more complicated. It's a two-sided effect. From a very local, sort of foot-level perspective, a curved plate might even be a good thing.
How so?
The study showed that they reduce the peak pressure under the balls of your feet, the metatarsal heads, compared to a flat plate. So it's actually lessening the load right there on your forefoot.
So potentially protecting the front of the foot,
Yeah.
but I'm sensing a but coming.
There is a but. The stiffness that gives you all that propulsion also restricts natural movement in your foot. So that energy, that stress, it has to go somewhere.
It's shifting. Where does it shift to?
It shifts up. The papers call it an increase in compensatory load and injury risk in the proximal joints.
Proximal meaning closer to the center of your body.
Exactly. Your knees, your hips, even your lower back. And this effect gets much, much worse when you're fatigued and your form starts to break down.
And to really nail this point home, I saw the sources looked at just the insoles on their own, right?
They did. As a sort of control, they tested these downward curved carbon fiber insoles by themselves.
Yeah.
And the result?
And
Nothing. No performance benefit, no physiological benefit, and runners actually said they were less comfortable. It proves it's about the entire shoe system working together.
So what's the big takeaway for you, the listener? These carbon plate shoes, they're not a gimmick, but they're not a magic bullet either.
And they're certainly not a pure injury machine. They're a piece of advanced technology with very specific consequences. The benefits, the metabolic saving, are real, but they're tied to things like a medium stiffness and a curved shape.
But they absolutely come with the risk of shifting stress up your body, especially when you're tired.
Right. Which leaves us with a final kind of provocative thought for you to think about.
Okay.
Given that we know this risk of shifting load increases under fatigue, maybe the most important question isn't how often you train in these shoes. Maybe it's when you use them. Should they be saved, for instance, for race day only? It's something to consider before your next big training block.